keep what you got. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tanner. Mr. Craig?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think there's probably two things that Elyria gets the most publicity for over the past several years. And the first one would be design review. We've got a reputation as a community, as a city that fights with its businesses. Both the existing businesses that are here and that want to expand and want to change and want to grow, and also with the businesses that want to come in or at least interested in considering Elyria. And that's a problem. That's a real problem. The other one would be the fire department, obviously. First, as an administrative matter, there's a vacancy right now in design review for the appointee for the alternate, and I wanted to make sure that we're moving forward. We don't lose sight of that in light of all these other discussions. I know that one of the residents in my ward, Desanne Collins, who is here tonight, is interested in being considered for that alternate position. She was an original applicant, has not been contacted by anybody from the city at this point. But has expressed her interest in going forward. The mayor had mentioned the 2015 Committee on Economic Development, and of course this is crucial. This goes directly to our bottom line for the jobs, the businesses that come into this city, the ones that stay. You know, as we look around North Ridgeville, no staff cuts, no layoffs. You know, you look at Avon, they're taking hits, but they don't have any staff layoffs, no reductions. You know, I was at the CAP Council meeting with you, Mr. Callahan, the other night, and Jean Anderson, the mayor of Vermillion, stood up and said when she took office, she had $90,000 in her general fund, and despite the economic times, they've got $1.2 million now. It's a matter of jobs, and these are things that are so important and critical to here, and I'm sure that the 2015 committee talked about design review. They wanted to have a design review process. It might be time, though, to take a look at that, invite them back, those members back. Let's hear from each of them. What are their perspectives? You know, does this process that we have right now, does it meet their expectations? Is it what they were looking for? And then decide whether to make modifications as necessary. And there are also some people, I think, here tonight who have had some firsthand experience. I know that Susan Wallerman Post is a local architect here. She's had some firsthand experience. I'd like you to think about her, giving her a little bit of time to speak tonight before you make the next move. I think we need to look at the statistics that are or are not being maintained with the design review process. And prior to the design review process, the mayor had mentioned there were some calculations that there was a 2-day turnaround time. I don't know where those records are. I've never seen anything about the records of the turnaround time. But what do the records say now? What are our statistics now? You know, what percentage of applicants are coming in with no changes? I'm hearing a lot of people that have said, well, I've been through the process, but the design review process is nothing but they got to tinker with it. I got plans, they're perfectly good, but there's always got to be some change. And with every single change, there's a cost involved in it, and that gives you a bad reputation. So I would like to, I thought that the idea to have an open meeting, you know, with enough notice for people to actually get involved in it, to have an open meeting for people to come out and talk about their experiences with it, and solicit input from the public. I mean, we represent the public, this is for the public good. So let's get some input from the public again.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Craig. I see there are 2 hands up. If you'd like to speak for a moment or two. Mr. Phelan.
Norm Phelan, 914 Howard Street. I haven't been here for a while, but in the back of my mind, I remembered that you were going to be talking about this stuff tonight, so I did want to get my 2 cents worth in. First, let me express my extreme disappointment in all of the wasted time you folks did a couple of weeks ago when this matter first arose. I don't know Mr. Reeser, but it was so obvious to me and obvious to other people also when the law director said after 2 minutes, council cannot do anything tonight. I'm not saying he's God, but it was so obvious that this was an attempt to circumvent other procedures. Board of Zoning Appeals is not something new. I think it's been here either 60 years or it was adopted in the late 20s, with the Board of Zoning Appeals. And you people are all so very busy in your personal lives. You've got heavy agendas, and I think you kept talking, which you have the right to do, for another 30 or 40 minutes when the law director correctly said you can't do anything. This was clearly an attempt to circumvent the laws that are on the books, and the Chronicle Telegram saw it exactly the same way the day after. Having said that, let me get more directly to design review. I talk to contractors who say if their clients and they pay attention and listen when they come in and just turn in the paperwork, that it moves very nicely, and admittedly, I'm not a person that gets phone calls like you do, but I don't hear all this stuff unless it's somebody that just wants to gripe. In terms of money, it may be that a plan is changed, and it may cost. I'm not saying the design review is going to save people money, but if it costs a little bit more money up front, and I don't see anything wrong with more bushes and flowers and stuff like that, bushes or hedges or grass, I'm all for that. If it costs a little bit more money, the cheapest time to do it is when somebody's taking bids on the contract. I was here a few years ago when design review was considering the church on Lake Avenue near the bypass. And I heard that discussion. And boy, if there's been a beautiful church built in Elyria, that's the results of what a very nice little discussion can turn out to be. I'm not aware that that was a budget breaker on them. If I didn't say it already, I'll say it. I know I've said it before, but maybe not tonight. Design review in Elyria, contrary to anything you may have heard, is so easy compared to other communities that are really on top of this. It's a piece of cake in Elyria, except for people who want to gripe. This sign business, you're right. It went on and on and on. How easy it would have been if the guy who was doing it had come in here and done it right first, and you people would have never heard about it. In fact, most city councils don't get involved in this kind of stuff, especially since the procedure was changed. The mayor felt that, well, maybe it's a legitimate criticism. It should be more representative, cross planning commission, council, which you now have. And I don't know why. I can tell you right now, if you have an open meeting, there'll be the gripers here, and you'll get the tales of woe. Oh, businesses don't come here because of this. It simply isn't true. If they're not coming here because of design review, then there's a whole flock of other Northeast Ohio cities that ain't going either, because we're not living in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s anymore. Those communities that want to be on top of this stuff are on top of it, and it's pretty easy here. And finally, I resent any implication that the staff members, any department, any administration, any personalities in City Hall are not cooperative. If anything, they bend over backwards to help people. So please don't reflect poorly on your own employees and your own administration. These people are conscientious, kind, helpful, patient, understanding. I hope I didn't say anything out of order, but I did want to go back to my first point about boy, I was disappointed when you wasted all that time after your law director said you can't do anything. Thanks for listening.
Okay,